Hello out there. My name is Robert Jensen. I'm lead SE working for VMware. In the last episode, I showed you how you, as a vSphere admin, can create a vSphere namespace where your Kubernetes admins can deploy Kubernetes clusters. I never showed you how to actually deploy a Kubernetes cluster. I only showed you the task that you, as a vSphere admin, without any prior knowledge to Kubernetes, must go through to provide the resources for the Kubernetes admins to be able to consume Kubernetes resources. Today, I'll take the role as the Kubernetes admin and show you how to actually consume those resources. So to begin with, you can see we have this demo namespace down here. This is the one I'll be using. So the first thing I'll be doing is I'll be going to my landing page and download my plugin for my operating system. So we use kubectl to communicate and consume everything here. But we need a vSphere plugin to be able to actually authenticate. I already installed this. So in the next step, I'll go directly to my VS Code and I'll paste in some of the commands. I can never remember them correctly, so I'll just paste them in as it's easier for this demo. So what we're doing here is we are using kubectl with the vSphere plugin to log into the server, this DNS name, which is the same IP address as you saw before. I'll select the insecure skip TLS because I don't have a valid certificate, and I'll select the user administrator at vSphere.local. You won't see it asking me for any credentials, and the reason for that is I already set up an environmental variable with that credential. That is not best practice, but it's easier to demo this way. As you can see, I have access to two different contexts, demo and another one here. And I will switch to my demo instance. And then I'll see what I actually have available for me in this instance. And doing the kubectl get tkr, I can see the different Kubernetes distributions that's available in this namespace. In this case, I have access to 126.5, which is the one I'll be using. When I want to deploy a cluster, all I need to do is define that cluster in this YAML file. And the way I do that is just like any other Kubernetes object, I'll use the API here, the Tanzu CLI. Then I'll use the kind Tanzu Kubernetes cluster. I'll give it a name, demo KDS, and then I'll select the distribution here, which is the same as you saw down here. Then I'll select my topology, which is I want 3 control planes, so it's highly available. I'll select the VM class, and the VM class is the template I created in our last video, where the vSphere admin selected different sizes that I could use to create my Kubernetes resources with. In this case, I just want medium. I'll also select the storage class, and again, this is also the storage class that the vSphere admin gave me access to. Then I want some extra access because my etcd database might need some extra access. In this case, I'll just define that and say I want one gig of extra storage. Then I go down to my node pools and I'll select 3 workers. In this case, I want a bit more resources, so I'll select the large one. But I'll select the same storage class as we only had access to one. And I'll also create some extra storage for my containerd. In the end, I'll select the default storage class, so I don't need to define it in every deployment afterwards. And all I need to do now is say kubectl apply/f and select my demo cluster. And within a few seconds, it will say, okay. And if we jump back here and we actually select our vSphere environment, within a few seconds, you should see that it starts to actually deploy this Kubernetes cluster. So it always takes longer when you do live demo. So yeah, here it comes. And you can see the demo KDS. And in a few seconds, you should also see the first VM being deployed. All these VMs are being pulled from the contents library, as you saw me describing in the last video. And you can see here's the first one. So we'll start by deploying, as far as I remember, the first master node, and then we deploy the workers, and then we deploy the last master node. That's all that's needed. So once this is done, it takes around 10 minutes. I'm ready as a Kubernetes admin to log into my cluster and start consuming it. Easy, right? Thanks for watching.